All right. Thank you guys for joining us at the Two Balls and a Mic podcast. Today, we are welcoming a great San Diegan player for the SD Loyal. Has played on the MLS, the veteran in the sport of soccer here in the States. I want to bring on the great Erick Avila. How are you, Erick?
Good, good. How are you? Tony and Chivas, how are you guys?
Doing good, doing good. Thank you for taking your time to be with us.
Aquí
No,
nomás,
I'm happy to be here. Aquí nomás chillaxing, no?
And so we might throw for the listeners / viewers, we might throw a little bit of Spanish in there just because we've been talking a little bit with Avi. I think you prefer, right? Listening to a couple of other.
Yeah. So my nickname Erick Avila, pero todos me llaman Avi. So that's like my nickname, Avi.
El Avi. Y pues sí, o sea, es lo que estamos hablando con Chiva y yo. Es cuando te vimos, when we first saw you, that guy's different. Es diferente. ¿Por qué? Porque no es de que, not that you don't take stuff too serious, no eres muy serio, pero, o sea, eres bien, o sea, se te ve la carrilla que se das, you're on the field with your teammates. Hey, ¿qué onda? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Qué no? You don't really see that a lot, pero that's something that the community here in San Diego really likes. How do you like having to be a part of that first generation, first team here in San Diego?
You know, it means a lot to be part of the first team, especially with, me being older and going through the MLS and stuff like that, and now coming home. It feels good. It feels like, it's more of a veteran role and trying to help out the younger guys and try to help them to see where they want to be. But honestly, it's one of those things where it's just like, like you said, I'm not taking it too easy. I'm a really friendly guy, but I'm also trying to ease the pressure for a lot of guys that are, just coming in. And so, it's like little stuff like that. And then they know when I'm like being funny and, and stuff like that. And then when I turn it off and I'm like, okay, let's go to work. And so I think that whole communication and stuff like that goes well.
Definitely, man. Especially, here you can see the joy of what it's like to play the game too, and up close. And you've played up close all the way from when you were a kid all the way to now to being a professional, and you know what it's like at every level here in San Diego. And so I'm really happy to have somebody representing the locals. I know we had Sal Sizzo on the other day, and we'll get to him in a little bit. We've been having these morning Instagram Thursday morning coffee sessions. How have you been liking that? Just getting on there, leading an interview, and talking with some of your teammates over some coffee.
El café con el Avi.
El café con el Avi.
No, it's been really good. It's just so hard to, we were starting the season and all of a sudden it just stops. Mm-hmm. And so it just makes it so hard because all the fans and the supporters were so excited for this whole season to kick off. And we feel so bad because all this just kind of just stopped out of nowhere. And so the little things like that of just me going online or like, other guys going on podcasts and trying to just stay involved with with the fans, it just means a lot. And I'm just glad that I give someone just a little bit of laugh or, get their mind off of work for a little bit and tell them we're still here with them, so I enjoy that.
Yeah, I mean, coming to Loyal, obviously this project with Landon Donovan, I mean, when we first met Donovan, me and Tony, we didn't know what to expect because as Mexican fans, obviously we have kind of like a bad history with Landon Donovan because he's done terrible things to Mexico before, like scoring so many goals on us. But honestly, we met him. He's a really nice guy. I want to take your point of view on what's it like training with him. What were your first expectations when you found out you were going to be playing for Landon Donovan?
He's one of those guys that I looked up to when I was younger in the U.S. national team. Mm-hmm. That was the poster guy that everyone wanted to be. When I got to the MLS and I started playing games and stuff, I started realizing how good he was on the field even more. And so I took a lot of respect for him. And we played against each other a bunch of times when I was in Chivas USA as well. It was more like close contact and kind of interacting with him more and kind of just being around him. because we shared the same kind of locker room with Chivas and LA Galaxy.
Mm.
But for him being a coach now, he sees things that are very different that a lot of people don't see. A coach can be a coach, and he's still learning the ways how to manage a team and trying to figure things out. And he has a good staff that can kind of like manage that for him. But then again, you see him coming in and then throwing his 2 cents and what he wants on the field. And those are the little things that sometimes we don't see, and we like, oh, okay, you know. And that's what kind of amazes me, hanging out with him and him being a coach with us. But to be honest, he's more of a player's coach guy. He's not like, I mean, he can be strict when he needs to be, but he's very understanding because he's been a player as well. And so it kind of relates to us, and it makes it easy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like that does take a huge part in the chemistry with the team. You guys knowing that he knows what you guys are feeling, and him knowing what to expect from you guys.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot. He's funny. I mean, he's a funny guy. He's a cool guy, and we're just very happy that he's on our side.
Yeah, he's definitely he's Tony's best friend. Like, since he talked to him a couple times already.
I've only met him two times and 3 times, and then he's my best friend now. Sang happy birthday to him that one day. It's great. A ver, pero yo soy mexicano.
Damn.
Yo soy 100% mexicano. Yo le voy a la selección mexicana, Landon Donovan.
Okay.
Tiene hasta la, ya sabes qué. Convénceme de Landon Donovan y convénceme del San Diego Loyal. Yo vivo aquí en Tijuana, yo veo aquí a mis cholos, pero a ver, este es un experimento aquí con el mejor jugador de la historia de Estados Unidos, en Landon Donovan, en San Diego. ¿Por qué voy a ir a ver a San Diego Loyal ya cuando empiecen todas las cosas?
No, yo creo que es un equipo que tiene mucho dinámica de puros jugadores de todos lados. Y yo creo que el estilo de Landon Donovan es muy ofensivo, igual como la Liga de México. Y yo creo que este año, ojalá que podamos terminar este año, pero vas a mirar un juego bien puro up and down, puro exciting.
Uh-huh.
No los vamos a quedar abajo. En casa siempre vamos a atacar, y yo creo que va a ser un estilo que ojalá que todos le gustan.
Ok, ya me convenciste. Sí, voy a ir a ver toda la temporada. Será fan de season pass holder. No, but it's great, and you can see that, man. You know, it's gonna be weird editing this. I don't know how we're gonna go about it. But you know, talking about that, you can tell on the field that you guys don't give up. You know, that first home game that we had, the first and only home game we had for that regular season game, you guys just didn't give up the entire game. We were right behind Jake's goal when Lights went up 1-0 with that wonder strike, but you know, the entire game you guys never gave up, and even on the way out, when you guys saluted everybody and said hi to everybody at the end of the tie, you know, you said, hey, you know, had Jack say, hey, you know, we're gonna get that win for you guys next time, and a couple of other players like, hey, like, you could tell you guys weren't happy with that tie. It's a point, but you can tell that, you know, as a team, that's what you guys bring, and I really appreciate that.
No, it's good, man. It's like un equipo que siempre quiere trabajar duro. You know, it's a team that wants to work hard, that wants to go out there and do it. The first game, we were a little nervous. We were trying to figure things out. And the funny thing is, we went to the locker room and we all kind of looked at each other, and we know that we're better than that as well. You know, so we kind of just looked at each other like, okay, we got out here with the tie. That's a point. Scratch that. Let's move on and let's figure out, because we have 2 more games to worry about. We can't keep dwelling on the first one. And so the team and the chemistry of the team right now is great. And so I'm very proud for the guys that came in for that.
Definitely. And one of those players on the team is another San Diegan, Sal Sizzo, who on the first little Instagram live we had, I don't know if you remember, I brought up the fact that you guys, I don't know if you remember that you played him, you played UCLA and won in the championship and scored the goal. And if that had been brought up in the locker room, I asked him about it, and he said, yeah, maybe here and there, but that you conveniently forgot to add that Sal and his team played in a blizzard the day before you guys played. So what do you remember about, you know,
I mean, if that's his excuse, is unbelievable because we played in the Blizzard as well. But we did play in St. Louis. I mean, just imagine 2 California teams in St. Louis in the snow. So it just didn't make sense for both of us.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that whole year they beat us in the regular season, and then we find them in the finals, and I felt like they were just kind of confident that they were going to beat us again. And it turned out that that one was probably the best feeling because you're going against UCLA. I did score the game winning, so that felt even 10 times even more.
Yeah.
And so it was such a good feeling, beating a powerhouse like UCLA and Sal Sizzo as well, because he's just a San Diego local that me and him always kind of compete. So it's funny.
Take me through the whole draft process after college. Like, how does it all work? How do you get drafted to the MLS? And what was that experience like?
Pues el draft was. El draft es como un momento que no me lo olvidar, because that thing is like, that whole phase was nervous and scary, when that whole process came in. I was sitting down with I was with my mom, and then I was with my Nomads coach because he happened to be there, and so he was sitting down, and then it was my agent. The process is great. You have all the fans behind you. And they're just chanting, and then you're sitting there, you're kind of wondering what team you're going to go to. It's quiet for a while because everyone's on the table kind of just searching, trying to make things. And you have other players too. And we're all nervous because we're all just sitting down, just not knowing. And then, a couple guys went through, and some of my friends went through as well. And then now I'm just like, shoot, man. And then you have doubt, man, no one wants me or something, But dude, it went to the point where my agent, tapped me and he goes, hey, and he's on the phone, he's going back and forth, and he tapped me and he goes, okay, cool, no problem. And he hangs up, he turns around and he's like, has a big smile and he's like, congratulations, you're going to FC Dallas. And then he gives me a handshake and he goes, just wait. And then the commissioner starts coming up and I'm just excited, I'm getting nervous, and I'm like, oh man, my mom's like, I'm about to cry. And he goes, by the something pick or whatever, 13th pick, we picked, Erick Avila for FC Dallas. And it was a moment that I will never forget because that whole thing was that's where my career is starting now. It's like, okay, I made it to where I always wanted to become when I was a little kid. Okay, now the work has to start even more. So it was really cool.
Yeah, it's definitely it's interesting because here in the U.S., I mean, the path of making a pro, it's a lot different from everywhere around the world, Usually, everywhere is just youth academies and hoping to get a contract with the pro team. So to me, it's definitely interesting how here in the U.S. we do have that whole draft process, and then MLS is drafting players.
Yeah, way different than Mexico status and stuff like that. Yeah, for sure.
Which one do you prefer? Do you think the draft process is something that maybe other leagues should try maybe adapting, or do you prefer more of the traditional way, everywhere around the world, just trying to make it pro?
Right. Making the draft was special, and it makes you feel, it makes you feel great in that sort of a sense. But it's only also one way to going, and we're in Mexico or in other leagues, you have more opportunities to go there and then get involved in the first team there. You know what I'm saying? So my path, I want to say, was a little harder. I think that if the U.S. kind of figure out more leagues with the better pass for everyone, which I think they're starting to do, I think you'll start getting away from the draft maybe and start joining the world.
Y luego, pues, jugaste para las Super Chivas. Bueno, versión 2, versión USA. ¿Cómo se te sentiste jugar en un equipo que tiene el nombre más importante de México, pero en una versión, no sé, estadounidense, pero casi not the real deal. Like it, but at the same time, it could have been, and it was all it was there, had everything for it. Sí se pudo haber hecho, pero ¿cómo se sintió jugar para una institución como las Chivas con un nombre así?
Equipo de de cuando estaba un niño. Y es del equipo de mi familia, de mi papá. Mis padres son de Guadalajara, de Jalisco. Y pues, going to the Chivas era nomás el nombre Chivas y los colors era todo lo que yo quiera. My dad was excited, my mom, my family, for Chivas USA and, the crest. Don't know, pero came to the United States. During that time in Chivas, I had a good year. I was starting most of the time. I was starting to get my feet going, and I was doing really well. At that time, I did a Chivas Guadalajara and Chivas USA, querían hacer un cambio. Chivas USA y otro de Chivas de Guadalajara, so they'll do a switch. And that time, it was they were training at the Carson, and I had a game in Houston. To me, me dijo, no, sabes qué, quédate aquí, vas a entrenar con el Chivas de Guadalajara, vamos a jugar este juego en Houston, y ahí quédate. And shoot, like, for real? And he goes, yeah, that's if you want to do that. And I was like, yeah, I want to do that. So me quedé y entrené con Chivas Guadalajara double days. Me quedé en el hotel con ellos. Hice every day. So what was amazing for me is that when they gave me the kits, it was Guadalajara with all the stars, instead of the Chivas USA with the 0 stars. Was just unbelievable. Season basically while my season MLS was going on. And he goes, hey, we're going to go back to Guadalajara. Tienes and stuff like that because I didn't know what was going on. My coach goes, yeah, go there. So I got on a flight with Guadalajara, and I went back to Guadalajara and Omi Life and over there in Casa Verde. And I trained the preseason. I put on a jersey and I played against Universidad de UDD, or what's that? Los Tigres Negros, I think. Is that what they're called?
Los Negros, yeah.
Los Negros, yeah.
Negros. And then after that, we were going to play Atlas and Estadio Azteca or Estadio Jalisco.
Oh, jeez.
So me coming into the stadium and then to the Estadio Jalisco, era como un sueño. And my dad was crying that I was going to be on TV. No, it's just unbelievable. I was there, and I was there with Sabe. Who else was there? And it was the first Chivas bus that I got into. So me fui in the bus, and I sat there, and I'm new. We're going to the estadio, and we're driving, and these fools go, oh, everyone's on the ground. And I'm like, why is everyone on the ground? And they're like, hey, Avila, siéntate, ponte abajo. And I'm like, what's going on? And I'm like, so I get down on the ground a little bit, because when we're going to the Estadio Jalisco, they're just throwing rocks at the bus, and I'm just like, no way, this is crazy. Wow. Rocks, and I'm just like, shit, this is crazy. So we get there, we start going over there, and we're trying to figure out the lineup, and then I go in there, and then they're like, Avila, get number, forgot what number they gave me. Like, get that number, this and that. You're starting in the midfield or whatever. You're playing against Leon Negros first. And I was like, oh, shoot, okay. It was my first time putting on the Chivas jersey, going out there, and it was on TV. My parents watched it from here. From there, I was over the moon, trade, because they sent Cubo Torres to Chivas USA.
Oh, okay. Wow.
There is that I was going to stay there, but the League of MLS blocked the whole transaction and say that they can't do that. So we were fighting back and forth, and I ended up having taken a flight from Chivas or from Guadalajara to Montreal and played a game the next day with Chivas USA in Montreal.
Wow.
So that was my experience with Chivas, and I got to go in all my life, and for me and my family, eran Chivas till they die. I mean, it's an experience that I'll never forget.
Did you get to play with Bofo in Chivas USA?
El Bofo, that guy es un 5 contra 5 in the small sided. Es the best 5v5 player I've ever played with.
Wow.
Unbelievable. No se puede mover, pero con el 5 contra 5, oh my God, he's my favorite.
I bet, man.
So if you had
a definitely interesting career.
So if you had a 5 versus 5, a 5-a-side, and you're in it, so 4 other players, who is in your 5-a-side?
Would be Dax McCarty, Bofo. Who do I have in the back? Obviously, Dan Kennedy.
Yeah, you go in the back. Okay, one more.
I'm gonna go with. All right, that was nice.
So who's your 5th one?
I'm gonna go with Lee Win. We're not gonna have 0 backs. We're just gonna go and attack.
But like you said, you have Bofo on your side, so you don't need 4 other people. So
I just need Bofo up top and let him do his thing. I can't explain to you how good he was in 5v5. Single goal, and I don't know how he would do it. Like that was like his thing. Like it is unbelievable. But he was a cool guy. Bofo was awesome. So I had him like.
That's crazy. No, and we thank you for that. Any minutes that anybody played to defend the Chivas crest and logo and the city, and who's a fan of Chivas, from Chiva and I, thank you for that. That's the team, and anybody who defended those colors is on board with me. And I can't imagine how special it must feel to have your family be a fan of Chivas. It'd be different if si son un montón de americanistas y luego vas a jugar a Chivas. I can't imagine that, or vice versa. But it's one of those things where I can't imagine just being able to fulfill a childhood dream, and the joy must feel to give your dad that joy, and that's a feeling that it parallels any championship you might earn.
Right there was I got to keep the jersey as well, and I signed it and gave it to my dad, and so ya me puedo morir. God damn.
So le vas a las Chivas, okay, right? Is that fair to say? Okay, and I hear que también le vas al Chelsea. Is that correct?
Another team, tiene que ser el Chelsea.
I love it.
What?
I love it.
I'm going everywhere. Look at Chiva getting mad.
You're Chelsea fan, man? Are you kidding me?
You're bumping Landon pretty close to off there for best friend. But what made you be a Chelsea fan, if you don't mind me asking? As a Chelsea fan myself.
See, I've always played FIFA, and FIFA for some reason I always had Chelsea as when I was a little kid.
Yes.
And that was just like my dude. I used to play with Sean Wright Phillips.
Yep.
That was the name that just keeps going in my head because he would always score all the little goals. He's so fast and
so fast,
small,
yes.
And he scored all the goals. So and if I know like Barcelona, I love Barcelona and stuff like that. But if I had to like really be a diehard guy, I'm going with Chelsea. I have to play with with Sean Wright Phillips, and he's now one of my really good friends. I played with Didi Drogba, and that's when Omar Bravo was there as well. So
Yep.
me and him, Omar Bravo saw me when I went to Chivas, and so that's how we connected over there in Phoenix as well. Sean Wright Phillips is one of my good friends, and it's crazy how it all comes full circle, because I was like, man, I used to play with you in FIFA like all the time.
Yeah.
So that's my team.
No, I love it, and I love the fact that I don't know what I love more. Is you're a fellow Chelsea supporter, or that it bothers Chiva that much more?
I'm a Man U diehard fan all the way, man.
That's a shame for you this season.
Oh no.
So
It's all good. I mean, I don't hate Chelsea as much as I hate Liverpool.
speaking of, do you think, Gabby, that they should give the title to Liverpool? Check. Hello.
In the league.
All right, it cut off there. I know you were talking about Jack Metcalf about PSG getting the title, and we cut off a little bit about, do you think they should give Liverpool the title for the EPL this season?
Should I think they should. They only lost 2 games within 2 years in the season. I mean, they're like clear points away. All they need is 1 game at home. They're playing against, coming up, you know what I mean? So hard not to give it to them.
Yeah, definitely. I think that they should have given it to him. I know it's crazy what's going on in Europe too, because everybody's doing their own thing with PSG. You know, the prime minister said no, you're not going to get it. Then the league said, yeah, you're going to get it. So, and then same thing with Ajax, they didn't receive the title. So it's a little weird. I know, ST Loyal is still undefeated in first place. Just throwing that out there.
Son campeones, yeah.
Western Conference champions right there.
I know, we're in this crazy world right now, and one thing that we did I connected with you immediately, and I think you're going to be up there as soon as we talk about it a little more, is, have you kept up on Grey's Anatomy?
Crazy, the Grey's Anatomy. I'm on season 7, episode 14. It's just doing clinical trials. Yeah, I've been keeping up with all of that.
You got a long way to go, man.
Honestly, my buddy.
I know
I have
a long way to go, and everyone keeps saying just wait and wait, and I'm like, man, I'm waiting, but like, I have my favorite characters, and it's starting to get better and better, but there's some episodes where it pisses me off. I'm like, there's no way I'm watching this if this guy dies. Like, if this guy dies, I'm going. That's it. That's a wrap.
Yeah. And man, I stopped watching that show around season 14.
So you're a trooper.
Yeah, season 14, that's where I cut it off. I was like, oh man, I can't take this anymore.
No, it's crazy. And
fight with someone else because
yeah, you're saying, Abby?
Getting in a fight with someone else because I was like, yo, Meredith doesn't do any surgeries, so like I thought she was supposed to be this crazy cool girl, and all of a sudden I'm not seeing it yet, so I don't know.
So who would have the cure for COVID-19 first, Meredith or a pilled up Dr. House?
They always give it to Meredith somehow, and she doesn't do anything, so I think Meredith's the one.
I'm gonna start wrapping it up. I'm in season 2 still, where you were that day. I had promised my girl, I was like, you know what, because she's already watched it, she's still watching it, and so I'm catching up. I'm like, I was gonna watch it with you, we were gonna do this whole thing. So I stayed at season 2, but I think I'm just gonna go for it, and who knows when this is gonna end. I'll probably finish it by that time, catch up with everybody here.
And then we'll go over it.
Another thing I heard you doing in quarantine was chess. How's that going, man?
Big chess player. It's going good. I've been playing online a lot with a lot of different players around the world. When I get into something, I kind of just I want to be the best of it, type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of stuff. I try to like learn little things, and then I play a lot. I got a big cool Christmas chest for Christmas, so I just started playing like a year ago, and I enjoy it, man. I enjoy it. So I don't know if a lot of people don't know, but well, I'll tell you guys. But in the mornings before training, I wake up in the mornings, and my routine is like I get up, I do my bed. For some reason, I do my bed all the time, and then I go and take a shower. And while I'm in the shower, I have my iPad in the shower, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I play around a chess in the shower. And water's behind me. I play chess here, and then if I lose, I keep playing until I win. And once I win, I'm like, okay, cool. I throw up, and then I take a shower and get ready for training. But I kind of just hits my brain up. It wakes me up a little bit, and I can tell when I do dumb mistakes, it's because I'm not really turned on, And then once I start doing things like that, it's like, okay, everything's all clicking, and I'm good to go.
I like that.
Yeah, man, chess is an interesting game. It's a lot of strategy. I myself play a little bit as well. Like my dad used to taught me when I was little, and I would always play him. But it's definitely a game where it's a lot of thinking and a lot of patience too.
I didn't realize how amazing and things that you can do, and it also evolves around life as well, because I'm just walking around and I'm just thinking about chess moves, and like, it's pretty cool.
You're always thinking two moves ahead.
So won't even, it all goes, man. So yeah, you're right. I would love to play you someday. It would be awesome.
Yeah, for sure, man. Whenever you want.
And I'll be watching because I play checkers. No, that's great, man. And once it's all over, I mean, I hope some sports are starting to come back. I know Korea had baseball for the first time today. The MFL is still going, and MLB is trying to figure something out. Hopefully, USL can figure something out with fans, without fans. Would you want to start the season even if it means having no fans in the stands?
The approach of how the world is going on right now, but we would just like to be out there. We don't want this whole league just to end, and start slowly like that, and then build into having fans to come over. It would be amazing. This whole thing has been crazy, but hopefully soon that we can get out there and train. I think it's looking promising. I know that we're starting to get more emails coming in, and more of a email and meetings of like, okay, guys, like it's and okay, cool. Like we need to, in case things do open up, we have to be ready to go. Because we want to keep it that way.
No, definitely, and we see you guys training with Zoom. A couple times you even opened up to the public for those who donated to the Radius Children's Hospital. That was a great campaign you guys did, and I think it's still available. Just blew the original goal out of the water. But again, it's those things that are so great about having a professional team here in San Diego, and a professional team that seems to care so much about the community. And a thing that we talk about here is that we didn't think about covering, we're going to start this little silly podcast, maybe get a couple media credentials and stuff, but we didn't see ourselves covering so much local sports. And the fact that, this came at the same time that we did, and there's just so many local stories to cover. We found ourselves just standing and just being amazed at how much this community really cares, and how much you guys show that you care, not just as the team, but as the individual players. And so who's somebody on the team that, you just know that not a lot of people may know now, but are just going to fall in love once they get to know them a little bit?
We have a lot of characters in our team. And that's what's like great about this, because I love coming in the mornings and, everyone's doing something, everyone's trying to figure out, we have, I know you guys had Jack for a little
Oh,
bit,
he's
and
great, man.
he's a funny guy. Charlie's another funny guy. I saw you guys had Sal. Yeah, there's a lot of good. Um, a funny one is Yair. Yair is a funny, small, quiet one. Um, communities as well, but he's a funny character. Beverly, he's funny, but he doesn't speak English, so that's
Okay.
hard. I'm trying to get you like something different, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the guys have their own different stories, and you can't go wrong, you know. Because you have all the people, Irvin Paredes is a funny guy. He's a funny guy that you should probably get as well.
Yeah.
Carlos Alvarez, Raul Mendiola has an interesting story, you know. So it's cool about our team is that every Tuesdays we have a presentation, and show about his life.
Okay.
We all sit there and we watch him present his life, who his dad is, you know, his parents, how he got into soccer, and so we just get to know a lot about the, you know, a person instead of just a soccer player.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
Amazing, man. And so yeah, those are little things that we're trying to get to learn as well. And I'm just happy that you guys, and not just you guys, but other people in the community, like the podcasts, are coming out and reaching out and trying to get to know us as well. And it means a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
And I know, you know, I listened to, I know last week you had you're on the Let's Talk About a Top podcast, and, you know, have Fairweather around, and they're great too. And it's great to see just such a collection of great dudes. And we hope to get to know you personally as time goes on. Zoom is telling us that our meeting is almost over, unfortunately. But with that, I would like to thank you. Muchas gracias, Avi. I hope to get to see you out there soon. And once it all passes, maybe we'll get me out of retirement and see how many goals you can shoot on me for penalties. I guarantee you will miss at least one.
Yes, in training, so I don't know.
All right, man. I really appreciate it.
But
yes.
no, muchas gracias, guys. I appreciate it, huh? Thank you for inviting me over.
Yeah, no
No
problem,
worries,
man.
man.
Hopefully catch you soon. All right. Goodbye.
Later.